What up, Razzballers? Welcome back to another episode of the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. Got a big one for you tonight. We got a tri-box getting warmed up for the quad box coming up with our Sunday live start-sit shows coming up when the kickoff begins in September. But we're doing a preview tonight with three of us. We got Derek and Jeff joining myself, Sky. We got a ranking debate with the first of many Razzball Rumbles right now on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. What's up, everybody? Good evening. Welcome back to another episode of the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. I am your host, Sky Guasco. You can find me on X at my name, SKYGUASCO. We got Jeff jumping in as well. That's at Jefferson __. That's 2 for you non-math majors. And the number 21. And then Derek Favrette, my old friend from many, many, many moons ago. Haven't seen him all season somehow because he's been deep in the baseball, which I love to hear, but he's back on the football side, which we love. That's Derek _Favrette. No relation to Brett Favre. We did check the records. Very excited to have both you guys in here. We got a fun one tonight, gentlemen. We got a rankings debate, but not just a rankings debate. We're going to be breaking down a couple different players. 2, in fact. We got Josh Jacobs and Evan Engram. These are guys that are kind of like going back and forth in all of our rankings here at Razzball. We can't figure it out. We put the pros to the test, and now we're going to really be debating exactly who's up and who's down and why. My job, which is fun tonight, kick back, save my stats and all my jargon per usual, and just listen to what you guys have going on, pick a winner for each debate, and if we need a bonus, I got one hidden behind the scene that will have an extra name that I can throw out at you guys if we do end up having a tie. Before we get started, though, I want to make sure to remind everybody to follow everything Razzball. That's RAZZBALL NFL on X. Make sure to subscribe, of course, to the Razzball Fantasy Football Show right here on YouTube. Smash that bell and leave a comment on how you feel about these players. Are you up or are you down? Are you neutral? Are you fading? Whatever it is. You can also find us on the go, of course, at the podcast level, wherever you listen to your audio. It's the Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast Show. And, of course, all of our articles and exclusive content and tools to help you with your drafts of any format available right now at football.razzball.com. And as my good buddy Matty Stiles and I broke down for you Monday night during our mock draft, Razzball drafts have been wrapped up. You're going to see some recaps of that. You're going to see some of the articles coming out. So keep an eye on that. We had so much fun drafting with all of you in the Razzball. It was super fun. The league settings are crazy. It's a better ball draft that Matt is much better at explaining than I am. So make sure you stay tuned to that one. All right, gentlemen, we got a lot on the plate tonight. We already got comments coming in here, but I got to put them on pause. Jeff, you and I have been doing this weekly, man. Great to see you, brother. Derek, been too long, my man. How are you guys feeling? And are you ready for the first Razzball Rumble?
Well, we're going to find out. I got a stiff competitor on the other side here, so we're going to find out.
Yes, we shall.
Love it. We have one comment here popping in already. Quote, Sky has negative Jacobs bias. This might not be fair, end quote. Unfortunately, our seasoned listener there has forgotten that the day Josh Jacobs moved over to Green Bay, the longtime super hater of Josh Jacobs, yours truly, and Raider hater, because I grew up on the other side of the bridge, that's another discussion, has been all about Josh Jacobs. So those Packer fans out there might want to check the tape. All right, here we go, folks. I'm going to get this kicked off here. We're going to start with Josh Jacobs. And Jeff, I'm going to let you kick off here first. So let us know how you're feeling about Josh Jacobs. Do your best, man, because obviously Derek's chomping at the bit to jump in on you, and we'll see how this goes here. So how are you feeling about Josh Jacobs this year? Are you in? Are you out? Are we drafting Josh Jacobs? Give it to me. Your time starts now.
Now, so I am in on Josh Jacobs. A couple reasons. He's going in the mid-third round, and entering this season, since 2019, he has a 92.9 PFF rushing grade, which is 4th in the league since that time frame. Now, he is joining the Packers, which will be the best offense and the best quarterback he's ever played with. So that's going to boost him up, I feel. Also, changing to the Packers, PFF has the Packers O-line as the 9th best O-line going into the season as well. So I like that, entering a good situation. Another thing I do like is that Matt LaFleur has done a great job with his running back, especially Aaron Jones, who's now gone. But since 19, he's been RB2, RB5, 12, and RB9, again, over a 4-year stretch there, minus last year. And interesting enough, Aaron Jones and Jacobs have both played the same amount of games, 73 since 19. So, but Jacobs is younger though, so I think that's why they made the trade to acquire him. Now, what I really do like about entering the situation is that he's going to be the workhorse back. He's proven he can do it. I know LaFleur likes to, use multiple backs, but A.J. Dillon is not that guy. I know he's having a good camp, but he hasn't proven it yet. A player I like in Dynasty a lot, Marshawn Lloyd, was supposed to be coming in as a 3rd-round pick to split time with him. He's got some hamstring woes early on in camp and in preseason, so there's really no 3rd-down back to catch balls out of the backfield from Jordan Love. Well, enter Jacobs. He's done it before. He's caught 50 balls twice in 2 different seasons, which was Aaron Jones' strength. So I think he has an easy path to being the 3rd-down back, which in turn may make him a 3-down back entering this Packers offense. So I like the opportunity that he's getting going in the 3rd round. He can be an RB1 if you take 2 receivers early on, or he can be a very solid RB2 for you with potential to end up as an RB1.
Ding, 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 ding. Nice. Jeff, well done. Way to break out the comparisons to former Packer running back there, Aaron Jones. Shouts out to our boy now in Minnesota without a quarterback. I like
Texas
the breakdown,
boy, too.
man. That's a strong case there. Derek, in defense, your time starts now.
All right, thank you. Yeah, that's a good recap. But unfortunately, I am out on Josh Jacobs, and I'll tell you why. And he's been in the league 5 years now, and I mean, he seems like an older player, but he's only been in it five years. But there's not a lot of tread left on those tires. He's been averaging here, and I got a little audio visual to pull up, so I'm going to pull up a little bonus clip here. 5 seasons, he's averaging over 260 rushing attempts per year. If you do the math, that's over 1,300 rushing attempts in 5 years. So has he been a player that's stayed away from injury? Well, no. He's only actually had 1 season, that was in 2022, where he played in every game. And in fact, last year he missed the final 6 games of the season. So yeah, I don't think that the Packers are getting the workhorse back that they thought they did. And look at these are career lows from last year. Yards, 805 yards, career low. Rushing average, 3.5 yards per attempt, career low. Rushing touchdowns, career low. Look at these fantasy points in the different formats. Do you want your number 1 running back to be bringing home between 11 and 14 fantasy points? You don't. So, yeah, for some of these reasons, I'm out on him. He's known as a between the tackles running back. Well, let's take a look at his success lately in running between the tackles. He has a 12% broken tackle percentage last year. 12%. That equates to only 2.3 yards after contact. Is that a workhorse running back? To me, it's not. Okay, make the argument that wasn't with the Raiders. This is Green Bay. Well, that Green Bay offensive line is projected to be in the bottom 1/3 of the league. Right now, they're ranked at what I've seen is about 19th or 20th in the league. They're projected to be towards the bottom 1/3. So he's not going to have that Cleveland offensive line in front of him. He's going to have, one that's probably similar to what he had last year with the Raiders. And so therefore, I'm thinking more his yards per after contact are going to be really similar to what we saw last year. He talked about A.J. Dillon and Marshawn Lloyd. Well, Dillon's has a similar running style, and he's been in this system a while, so he's familiar. Is he a workhorse? No, I agree with Jeff. He's not a workhorse. Dillon isn't, but he's familiar with the offense. They're gonna want to keep Jacobs healthy, and Dillon's gonna take. Maybe they might have a 60-40 split initially with Lloyd out, but Lloyd's a dynamic back, so he's a potential big play threat. I agree he's not going to be much of a factor early on, but when you get towards later in the season, when those treads are starting to wear on Jacobs again, you bring in someone like Lloyd as a big play threat, both rushing and receiving. That's going to cut it into Jacobs rushing as well. So, for him, someone like him, he's being drafted right now around the Rashad Whites, the James Cooks, the Joe Mixons, Kamara. Are you going to go with someone who has this recent track history, or are you going to go someone who has more of an upside? So for me, I am out on Jacobs.
Ding, 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 ding. End of round one. Gentlemen, that was fabulous. Derek, nice. You know me. I love me some like yesteryear stats. Well done. Gentlemen, I'm going to let the things in my brain that do the computing for my mouth work while I ask you a couple of easy questions here. Listeners, followers, viewers, feel free to answer these out loud if you'd like to as well. We're just going to do a quick compare and contrast. You guys are not challenging each other right now. You're challenging general ranking, ECR, expert consensus ranking before I give my score and my winner here. I'm just simply going to give you Josh Jacobs versus X player. I'll give you 5, 6, 8 players. Derek, you did a great job listing out a couple of the guys going around him. Jeff, I'm going to let you go first here. Josh Jacobs, or just say a player. Derek, you can follow up as well. Give me one word, one name. We'll crush through it quickly. PPR, gentlemen. PPR. Josh Jacobs, Jeff, or Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
How about Rachaad White?
Jacobs.
I'm going with White.
Kamara.
Jacobs.
Kamara.
James Cook.
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 Joe Mixon.
Jacobs.
Jacobs.
Ken Walker 3.
Jacobs.
I'll go with the Seahawk here, Ken Walker.
And finally, just to put apples to bananas, we got Josh Jacobs or the former Packer, Aaron Jones.
Jacobs.
Jacobs.
Got it. We have our faithful listeners over here chiming in the chat. We appreciate that. Everybody else, feel free to jump in the chat if you would like to as well, and let us know who you have on the ranking table there. So we got Josh Jacobs floating amongst those 6, 7, 8 guys around that RB 14 range, kind of top end RB2. Does have the potential to pop into RB1. We know that, but also could fall out of it and sometimes tends to disappear. All right. The calculators have been working, gentlemen. Derek, I do appreciate going back in time, giving us perspective of last year, the comparison to Aaron Jones from last year in this offense, AJ Dillon, similar running back in this offense, what it might look like. You both talked about the rookie Marshawn Lloyd. I appreciate it. Nobody brought up that he's got some fumble rooskies going on right now as well, which I don't necessarily love, which might be a half a point to Jacobs. But I do appreciate that, Derek. You did a great job defending yourself there on the no skills. And trust me, I've been a Josh Jacobs hater way before it was cool. But it's this year. It's a new year. I'm really trying to be like, I want Matt to be my friend. So I have to go with Jeff on this one here. And I'm going to go with the 4 side for Josh Jacobs. I appreciate you bringing up 4th in the PFF rankings. I love those, right? Those are Pro Football Focus. That is something that really helps us kind of get the general scope of the running back. I've said for years with Josh Jacobs, I don't like Josh Jacobs because I don't think he personally is a difference maker individually. Then you match him up with the Raiders, meh. The one thing he's always been great at is scoring the minimal touchdowns the Raiders score were through Josh Jacobs. Now, offensive line, not great or not, doesn't matter. Jordan Love, all these plethora of receivers, great scheme and head coaching. They were a couple of plays away from the NFC title game this year, and they should not have been there. Blew out the Cowboys in Dallas, and now you get an opportunity in this offense here with Josh Jacobs and the Packers. I think he's going to be scoring even more touchdowns and have more opportunity to rack up those points. Love me an O-line comparison. Bringing in the head coach and the scheme. That one's a shout for Bob's. Then you got the comparison to Aaron Jones as well. And the 50 receptions. Of course, he has not scored a touchdown receiving, but he does have those 50 receptions a couple times in the season. So this first round is going to have to go, unfortunately, to Jeff, only because I've been backing Josh Jacobs for a handful of years. But I do think it is really important that we keep the entire season at large. So, Jeff, round 1 goes to you. All right. And everybody else, of course, can get into that chat box if you would like to. Let us know how you're feeling about those 2 players. So, Josh Jacobs, round 1 goes to Jeff. Derek, mighty competitor, my man. And just to keep things fair, that's what I do. Derek, you get to go first in this one.
All right.
You're on the offense. We'll see what happens and see how Jeff can defend himself in this one. Let's talk about Evan Engram. Matty Styles and I talked about him at length. We drafted him in our mock draft on Monday night. We both love him. We think it would be great. But again, early season injury, or early career, I should say, injury history, hit or miss. Are the Jags actually going to pop the way that they think they're going to? They have new weapons. They lost some OG weapons. Is the running game going to be what we think it is? Is Trevor Lawrence going to be what we've all expected for the last 3 years? Evan Engram has a tendency to blow up like he did in the final game of the season or completely disappear. So are we going to get consistency or not? Derek, you're on the board, my man. Your time starts now.
All right. Yes, I am in on Evan Engram this year. He's, you talked about some past injury. I'm going to talk recency bias here. Right now he's being drafted in the kind of tight end 6 to 8 range, in the area with Pitts and Kittle. I think Engram needs to be at the top end of that, not the bottom end of that. So if he's available in the late 6, I'm probably going after him. And here's why. Evan Engram led all NFL tight ends last year in targets and receptions. Let me say that again. Not Sam Laporta, not Travis Kelce, not Andrews. Evan Engram led all tight ends, and by a fair margin, mind you. 90% catch rate. That was a career high for him. It's been increasing in each of the last 4 years. So if Lawrence gets the ball in his neighborhood, he's catching it greater than 90% of the time. He led the Jags in targets, in target share, up to 24%, which was up from about 17% for the previous year. Now, some people are arguing that's because Kurt was out for 5 games, and that's true. However, during the time that Kirk was out, Ingram's target share only went up 2.5 targets per game. That's it. Only 2.5 targets per game in those 5 games that he was out. So what I did see the difference was, and it probably led to a lot of the results that he came up with. When Kurt was out, he ran from the slot. Almost 2/3 of his routes were from the slot rather than in tight end. And so that put him down the middle, and that gives him an advantage against linebackers. So this year, now they've got Gabe Davis in tow. They've got Brian Thomas Jr. there, although with Christian Kirk, they've got 3 pretty dynamic wide receivers. And you've got Evan Engram again, at tight end. He's already proven he's got a connection with Lawrence. He's catching the ball, like I said, 90% of the time. He's going to be matched one-on-one with those linebackers in the middle because that defense is going to have to spread out with those other receivers. If he's targeted even nearly as much, I don't think he'll be targeted as much as last year. I'll give that. But if he's targeted even nearly as much as last year at a 90+% catch rate, all he needs to do is get in the end zone a couple more times than he did last year. And he's the tight end 1 last year, scoring wise. But he didn't. And we know that he didn't. And that was probably the big downfall for him, which is probably why we're getting him at value at round 6 now. If he had 3 more touchdowns last year and he was the number 1 scoring tight end in fantasy, we'd probably be talking about him in the 3rd or 4th round. But we're talking about him in the 6th round. So to me, that's value. I'm looking at him, especially if I'm in the late 5th round. I'm looking at him. I'm going to snap him up because I see a kind of a cliff after those 3 tight end names that I talked about, 6, 7, 8. There's a cliff there, and you want to get one of those top 7 or top 8 tight ends. And I'm targeting Evan Engram because he's already shown he can do it. He's got a great system around him. He's got a great connection with his quarterback. I see a lot of one-on-one with linebackers. I think he's going to have another good year. Will he have 143 targets and 114 receptions? Maybe not. But I'm willing to bet he's going to be near the 100 mark, and I think he gets in the end zone a couple more times this year, which gives me good value at a round 5 or round 6 draft pick. So I'm in on Evan Engram.
Ding, 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 ding. Time up there. Well done. Way to come back strong there. Kept your composure after round 1. Got a little shot of Gatorade. Boom, there it is. Bam. Gin and juice in the bottle. Little stretch of Rooski. Went back in the club. Love it. Well done. All right, Jeff. It is your turn, and your time starts now.
So this is a tough one for me. I'm a Jags homer. And I'm out on Evan Engram. So what does that tell you? First and foremost, as Derek alluded to early on, his target share. I looked at some of the numbers as well when Kirk was out from 12 to 18. He did average nearly 10 targets a game over that stretch, which he said was about 2.5 targets per game. But what wasn't said, though, is that 3 in those games, again, out of those 6 games, out of half of those games he played, he had double-digit targets and double-digit receptions during that stretch. So I feel like the back half of the season was a little bit boosted more than what's leading on to the 2.5 target increase. Huge jump there. He only had one other game where he had double-digit targets and catches prior to that. Kirk going out made a huge impact of his, like he said, out of the slot and getting targeted more because Trevor likes throwing at the slot. That's part of Peterson's system. Another concern is his ADOT. When looking at 2 different, formats, looking at ADOT, his average depth of target, it was 4.7 to 5 yards. That's not very much. That was the second lowest amongst tight end, like fantasy relevant players that we're trying to draft on a 12-man league. So below him was Njoku. So they're not throwing the ball downfield to him. They're quick passes. He's got to have a lot of yak to make those, valuable and worth it. Well, then you throw in the Jags' new receivers. They brought Gabe Davis and Thomas Jr. These are deep ball guys. They want to push the ball down the field, which is why they brought them in, because Calvin, love him, but dropped a lot of passes, unfortunately. And Trevor last year was 7th in air yards. So I can just see that only increasing. They're going to be airing it out. So you've got a quarterback in a system where they want to air it out, but the tight end is only, averaging 5 yards a target. Something's got to give there. And if Kirk is back healthy, I think that target share goes back to like his 6 to 7, what he normally averages with the Jags. Additionally, he's only scored 4 touchdowns in 2 years with the Jags. The last season, he had the 15th ranked team share for touchdowns. So the 15th tight end, most target share. So wasn't very much. They don't look his way. And looking at the numbers, they do look at the receivers in the red zone. And for fantasy, I want tight ends are going to score me touchdowns because they're not going to get, as much yardage as the receivers are. So they got to make their money scoring touchdowns. So with that, I'm looking at other tight ends in the market. You can get Njoku, Ferguson, Goddard, and maybe wait late for Freiermuth, who I like a lot. So I'm willing to pass on him as being a tight end 6'8", around 71 ADP, according to the Razzball ADP consensus. And when you look at this round of players, would you rather Engram, I'm going to be honest, he's a very safe floor tight end. He's not going to give you the ceiling that the other guys are, but would you rather that or take a chance on your quarterback as Kyler Murray, Jordan Love, getting, Connor as your running back 2 or 3, Rashid Rice now with Hollywood Brown's shoulder injuries, Calvin Ridley in Tennessee with Nook, and then last another running back that's interesting is DeAndre Swift. So with the players around where he is going, that's why I'm passing.
Ding, 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 ding. Well done. That is the end of round 2. Evan Engram in the books. Factory activated. Let's talk about some of the guys going around him at the tight end 6 right now. You guys know the rules. Derek, you're up first this time. Evan Engram or Dalton Kincaid, Buffalo Bills.
That's a good one. I'm probably going to go Kincaid if I could get him at that level, yes.
Kincaid.
All right. Remember, folks, Derek is pro Evan Engram. Kyle Pitts.
I do like Kyle Pitts, but I'm going to take Evan Engram over Kyle Pitts. I do think Pitts is going to have I would say a bounce back, but he hasn't bounced the first time. I do like him with Kirk Cousins, but I will take Evan Engram over him.
I'm going to take Pitts.
Man, Derek just giving low-key physics advice. Folks, in order for something to bounce back, it has to bounce. in general. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And if it hasn't bounced, it can't bounce back. Damn. Derek DeGrasse Tyson on the program this evening. Well done. Couple more for you, gentlemen. My boy, George Kittle.
I am going Evan Engram. I'm actually not touching Kittle. I know this is gonna score me negative points in the ratings, but I am not touching Kittle this year.
-2. Okay,
Yes,
keep going.
That's right. I'm not touching Kittle this year. I will take Ingram, or I'll wait for some of those names that Jeff mentioned later. I really like Ferguson too, by the way. But yeah, I'm skipping Kittle. I'll go Ingram.
I'll go Ingram on this one too.
On the
but
football,
the caveat: if Ayuk is traded, then give me Kittle.
Okay, fair. I like the little dangle there. Well done. That's professional. On the field, I'm going to go Evan Engram as well. Off the field, George Kittle over everybody by a long shot. Whether I'm going to WCW, having a beer at a barbecue,
fair point.
You know, hanging out on a train and like killing 2 hours, like it's George Kittle, no question about it.
Yep.
2 more guys. Jake Ferguson. Derek already alluded he likes him.
Mm-hmm.
Are you like him more than Evan Engram?
I don't like him more than Evan Engram, but if they're going at the same or very similar ADP, yeah, I'll take Engram. If I could get Ferguson maybe 2 rounds later or round and a half later, I would wait for Ferguson. But if they're going the same ADP, I'm going to take Engram.
Yeah, I agree, Derek. I think Ferguson is about around like 10, 12 picks consensus right now. So it's like wait around. Ferguson is the number 2, I think, in Dallas. So I'll take Ferguson. I'll wait around.
Okay. Last name here, David Njoku. Talk about 2 guys that we've been waiting for, like the explosion. We've seen pieces of it from Evan Engram. We've seen pieces of it from David Njoku. Which one of those 2 guys, Derek?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Engram as well. I mean, if I was committed to a 0 tight end, theory and just skipped on all the top 7 tight ends, and I was waiting, and for some reason I couldn't get some of those other names I like, I would settle on Njoku, but no, I'm targeting Engram before I get to that point.
Yeah, I'm with Engram over Njoku on this one too. I don't know if Watson's going to play the full season. You get Jameis Winston. Love him, but I don't know what kind of share that looks like for Njoku.
Yes, I agree. All right, gentlemen, the results are in. The tally is ready to go. Before I give the number here, a quick recap. Derek coming in hot, letting us know that he led the NFL among tight ends in targets and receptions. Tight ends are so ambiguous, folks. You want opportunity. I love that stat alone. Makes me excited about Evan Engram in general. Plus, the Jags underachieved last year. I could see them bouncing back a little bit there. 90% catch rate. If I throw him a ball 10 times, he's catching 9 of them. Sign me up for that guy every single time. I love that. We don't have fumble fingers. We don't have oopsie daisies. I don't want that. I want a dude that, like, even if I throw him 2 yards or 35 yards, he's catching the ball 9 times out of 10. I love that every time. Jeff did his best here with the weeks 12 to 18. I appreciate that. With Christian Kirk being out, it is very important. Christian Kirk right now hobbled at camp, got a hammy. We hate those soft tissue issues. Our boy Matt Styles right now nursing the soft tissue issue. It's no joke, folks. Styles has been on the IR for like a few weeks right now. We're trying to get him back by the time season starts, so that's nothing to sneeze at. But something like this is probably going to be repairable by week 1. Also, Jeff, you're a Jags fan. Just stop me when you've heard of any of these players really quickly here. Parker Washington, Tim Jones. Who? Tim Jones. Joshua Cephas, relative to Quintez, I'm sure. Devin Duvernay, remember him? Shout out to the Gators. Seth Williams, Austin Trammell. I'm not done yet. Elijah Cooks, Brevin Easton. Remember Denzel Mims of the former New York Football Jets? Folks, those are the other wide receivers if Christian Kirk goes down. Gabe Davis, who's unreliable and possibly meh. And then a rookie who we all love, but he's a rookie, Brian Thomas Jr. So for me, and shouts out to our boss, Bob, I want to keep my job, so I have to mention continuity every single episode. Trevor Lawrence is going to drop back, go, dudes are missing blocks. Travis Etienne's gone. Who am I going to throw it to? The dude I know. it's going to be Evan Engram. 9 times out of 10, he's catching that ball. I like the continuity. So I'm going to have to give this one to Derek. Point for Derek. Jeff gets the first one. Derek gets round 2. And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
So, gentlemen, we had a
All right.
round. However, as I believe my boy Carp in the original Mighty Ducks said, tying is like kissing your sister. And no offense to sisters, not to all the sisters out there, but facts. So we're gonna have a Razzball Royal Rumble in a round 3 here, gentlemen. I'm gonna throw a player at you. You may or may not be ready for this, but it's a guy I can't quite get my head around in general. Rookie, probably the hottest rookie on the market in fantasy football right now, certainly in Dynasty. On a maybe good team, maybe not. I'm not quite ready to coin his quarterback as my dude all summer long, but I'm really excited to have him back healthy. And I love the backup running backs there. Plus, he got the OG and a lot of wide receiver lineage recently of the Arizona Cardinals. So the debate is going to come down to the one and only Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, it's only fair that we do a tiebreaker for the tiebreaker. So, gentlemen, I'm going to ask you a baseball question. You're both baseball heads, and Bob doesn't run this show. So here we go. The San Francisco / New York baseball Giants, in the history of the program, 1888 for anyone keeping score at home, how many World Series have they won total? How many World Series have the New York baseball Giants and the San Francisco Giants collectively won all time? How many World Series? Whoever's closest gets to go first in the 3rd round. Jeff, I'll let you go first.
9.
Derek?
5.
Jeff with a mighty guess. It is 8. And I'm going to give him a full 100% because we should have beat the Angels in 2002. Not that I'm still bitter at Rob Nen. I'm just saying we should have won Kenny Lofton a ring in 2002. That's all I'm trying to say. Jeff, you're on the clock here, my man. Your time starts now. Marvin Harrison Jr.
I am willing to take him where he's going as receiver 9, roughly mid-second round. What I like about him is he has Kyler Murray. I think the other receivers in his area, I like Kyler Murray the most of all the quarterbacks. Murray has shown a willingness to throw to his top receiver. Let's not forget DeAndre Hopkins and his 160 targets season. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago with Cliff Kingsbury, the Red Raiders to wreck him. But what I like about Harrison, a lot of people are projecting him for a 20% target share. I can see a realistic 120 to 130 with Trey McBride. If he gets 7 to 8, targets a game as a rookie, I like that. And if he can do better, I'm down for that. The recency bias too. A lot of these rookie receivers have come out and have done really well as rookies now. So it's not a stretch to say, why can't it be this one too? Lastly, just looking at Harrison, where he's going around, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave, Drake London, and Nico Collins. I just think he has the highest upside of the 4. I like all of them, but I think he has the potential to be a top 5, and that's why I want to take my chance on him in the 2nd round.
Whew, love it. Derek, time starts now.
All right. Well, Jeff kind of made the same argument. I do like him as well, but I'm actually fading him a little bit at the wide receiver 8, wide receiver 9. He said a lot of, rookie wide receivers have come out. Actually, I don't think it's that many who are providing 1st or 2nd round fantasy value in their rookie season. Jamar Chase is probably the best example of just coming out and blowing up. But, last year we were talking about Zay Flowers and he had someone like him returning, 2nd round value or whatever. And we see, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but that's a pretty lofty goal to think that Harrison can be, a first return 2nd round value, in fantasy. I do like Murray. I'm grabbing him wherever I can. I really like his game. I love McBride there as well. So I do think that helps him. But, you'd mentioned some names, London, Nico, Olave. I'm actually going to trust them a little bit more than the rookie at this point. I mean, and we're talking redraft, because if this is Dynasty, this isn't even a debate. But in a redraft, I need to see it first because I don't think that many rookies, and then I didn't go back and do the work on this one, but other than Chase, there's been some good rookies, but returning second round value, that's a pretty steep hill to climb. And as much as I like Harrison, I just don't see that he's going to do that this year. So I'm going to fade him a little bit. So I'll say I'm a little bit out on him at wide receiver 9 at the end of the second round. If he falls to the end of the third round, I'm taking it, but I'm fading him a little bit at the end of the second round.
Ding, 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 ding. Derek, solid. Jamar Chase crushing it. Let's not forget about a kid also out of LSU, Justin Jefferson, I believe, had a cool 1,400 yards, ladies and gentlemen, as a rookie wide receiver as well, and absolutely crushed.
And that's 2 receivers out of the last, 4 or 5 years? That's 2 that you've mentioned.
And we're not going to go all the way back for the OGs on the program to 2014, which is easily the best wide receiver class for fantasy football ever, when all those guys absolutely tore up.
Yeah.
But that was a long time ago. This one's really tough. I'm going to grind the gears here in a second, but let's play my favorite game, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Puka Nacua. Jeff, you go first.
Damn, that's tough.
Puka's a little dinged up.
I know. Puka did it for me last year, winning a title. I got to roll with him still.
Oh, man. Just no recency bias. Jeff fully committed from last year's stats,
That's right.
folks. Don't get caught. Don't get stuck. Derek, your turn.
Now, in this case, I'm actually taking Harrison. I just don't, if we're planning for a healthy Cooper Kupp, and Puka is a different player with Cooper Kupp, and it's not the same as what got him that that high ADP and early on. So I'm going to take Harrison and hope for the upside.
Cooper Kupp season, sign me up as well. Devontae Adams, Marvin Harrison Jr. Jeff?
Marvin Harrison.
Well, and a nod to my my co-host on our other show, Mr. Manny Styles, who is on the pup, by the way.
Hurting right now, Matty
Yes.
Styles. We need you back, buddy.
I will take Adams over Harrison, begrudgingly, but I will take Adams over Harrison and hope. Here, you heard it here first. Ayuk goes to Pittsburgh. Adams goes to San Francisco.
Dude, don't even say that. Stop right now. I have to
But
finish
even
this
if he
program.
even if he stays in Las Vegas, I would go with Adams.
I have to finish this program. Shouts out to the Bay Area native and Fresno Bulldogs for all the Cali kids down there. Chris Olave, Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison, but Derek's trying to win this one, so that's okay, though.
Well, hey. We keep it civil here. I'm the judge. Please just give me a name. Chris Olave, Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison.
I'm taking Olave.
All right, and Drake London.
This is tough. I like London a lot this year. Give me London.
Yeah, London for me as well.
Oh, both of yous. I like it. All right, let's go to the top of this game, and I'll get it going here. Garrett Wilson.
Oh, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, easy. Garrett Wilson.
Easy. That's the line right there. All right, between Drake London and Garrett Wilson, folks, you'll find Marvin Harrison somewhere. Gentlemen, we have cracked the code. We got into it. We did our absolute best, and I appreciate both of your participations today. Of course, everybody in the chat room as well, hanging out with us. I just got word in my teleprompter here online from our producer in the back. The winner of this is going to be facing off the one and only Matt Styles next week. And drum roll, please. Jeff will be the winner of this week. I don't think that the votes had the tallies going Jeff's way. However, I did a little bit of statisting myself, and while it might be very difficult for Marvin Harrison to be top 5, I do think that without any competition in Arizona, Kyler Murray coming back, first-round draft capital, and, of course, very high draft capital. And, don't forget his all-world legendary pops to help him with these situations, just being an NFL player. I think Marvin Harrison will be one of those special players that comes out the gate, of course, assuming he's healthy. So, Jeff, congratulations. You will be our winner of this round. Derek, with a very sportsmanship, I wouldn't expect anything less from you, my man. So we do have that. I love having the live studio audience with us every week. That's so fun. Derek, thank you for participating. We do appreciate it. Everybody in the stat line as well. Derek will be back over to the baseball side and back with us. Check out him and Matty Styles holding it down. And again, we got the quad box and maybe the 5, 6, 7 box coming up hot on Sunday mornings for the Start Sit show. So catch us when we go live. You can catch everything Razzball on X at Razzball NFL. Everything on the YouTube channel, Razzball Fantasy Football YouTube channel, and on the podcast as well, anywhere you listen to their audio. All of our articles and exclusive content and tools on the football.razzball.com. Both of these guys, continuous writers, and they're absolutely crushing it. Everybody else on our team is doing a great job as well, folks. We are hardcore mid-August. This is draft season for every format, every style that you play. We're here for you right here on Razzball. We appreciate everyone hanging out with us tonight. Congratulations to Jeff. That is Jefferson_21. And we got Derek _Favret. My name is Sky Guasco. You can find me at my name on X, SKYGUASCO. Until next time, folks, enjoy yourself. Be safe. Respect yourself and each other. We'll catch you next time on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. We are out of here.